Welcome to the Tamia and Tamika Show. Today we're going to talk about mortgages. Specifically, we're going to talk about 6 things that you should never do when you apply for a mortgage, okay? And we just want to go over a few things because a lot of people make mistakes. What I find, people make mistakes once they get approved. You know how you go through the qualification process and you get pre-approved. You know, they pull your credit and they verify your income and everything, and then they go out and mess up everything because it has to go through the underwriting process. So let's begin. The first thing that you shouldn't do is go out and accumulate a lot of debt.
Right.
Like when you're gonna, you anticipate moving into your new home. We understand that. So you want to go out and shop and get new furniture, new appliances, and rack up your credit card. Unfortunately, that's not good.
Right,
when
exactly.
you're going through the loan process.
Right. So they're looking at large deposits and they're looking at large withdrawals. So you definitely don't want to do that because that signals red flags. Like, where is all this money going? Are you credit worthy? They're looking at all these factors. So you definitely don't want to go out making large purchases, especially when you're trying to get a home. And just because you apply for something, it takes time before a loan can be, processed, go underneath, like Tamia said, the underwriting process. So don't think like, oh, okay, well, I went ahead and applied for this mortgage and now I can just go shop. Pump your brakes. Okay, you do not want to do that. You want to make sure you write everything out. And then, if you want to purchase something for your home and stuff like that or whatever. So be mindful of that.
And just keep in mind, it's only a short while. If you're, it usually takes from 2 weeks to 30 days to close on a loan. If you were the good company, like with mine, hit me up, by the way. It usually takes about, 2 weeks, 15 days,
Right.
To close on the loan. But mind you, that's a small time frame. So if you can just hold it down, because when you go and purchase like furniture or what have you on your credit card, and let's say it goes to the underwriting process, okay, you may not know this on the underwriting side, but the lender may pull your credit again, and they want to approve, they want to verify what me as the officer have put in for you. Even though we pulled it at first and everything checked out and we ran the numbers, but the lender on their side may pull it again.
Right.
So you want to reflect the same debt to income ratio when you don't want to drive up your debt and then different numbers come back when it goes through the underwriting process.
So you'll be denied.
Yeah. So that is very important. And then also watch your home equity line of credit for you guys who already have a home and you're going to purchase another property. You're trying to sell this one, but let's say you just have this HELOC, this home equity line of credit on the side. I know it's tempting once again, but don't use it. Okay, if you got approved already, just keep that approval. And again, just hold it down. It's only 2 weeks, boom. Okay.
Right, and don't change jobs. So that's the biggest mistake that some people make. They'll get like, they'll purchase something, they'll apply for a mortgage, and then they'll switch jobs. They're looking for longevity. How long have you been with the same employer? You can't say, oh, I just got this job. They're like, no, we need to know, are you gonna be able to pay us back? So don't switch jobs. If you have, if you're in the median where you're like, oh, well, I'm on the process of, doing this, maybe you should wait, to apply for a mortgage until after you've been in that job for like a year. I will always say a year, to being on the same job. You definitely don't want to look like you were not responsible enough. So I wouldn't suggest changing any type of, any type of source of income.
But for the mortgage process for qualification and approval, you basically have to have 2 consecutive years of verifiable income. So you want to keep, if you just have to change jobs, let's say you got approved or whatever for, to change states, and you found a property in North Carolina or whatever, in a different state, you guys are moving, you got approved and everything because, you keeping your job, or, it's a situation where you can transfer or what have you. If that situation has changed, make sure you try to at least get something in the same field, because that also counts if you're in the same industry. As long as it's 2 consecutive years of verifiable income, then you're good.
Right.
But don't just up and change a totally different market, a totally different industry, and because you have to go through the whole process again. It's once it goes to underwriting, you would have to do a whole, it's possible still, but you would have to do a whole letter of explanation. You have to get verifiable letters from your employer. It's a lot. Okay, so it's best, once you get approved, it's best to just keep everything as it was.
Right.
And again, it's only 2 weeks.
Right. And if you have credit cards, don't close your credit card accounts, because those will help you. You can pay them down, but don't close them. Don't I paid it off, let me go ahead and close this account, because that actually hurts you. It doesn't benefit you. It will actually hurt you, because you're like, oh, well, you can't keep an open line. You don't have an open line of credit, anywhere else. So you need to keep your credit cards open. Pay them off, but keep them open. You always want to have your credit card amount down and your income up, but don't close them. I don't care if you have 7 credit cards, okay? Pay them, but don't close them, because that shows your credit worth. And also, having no credit is worse than having bad credit.
Right.
So you want to at least establish some type of credit as well if you do not already have credit.
Payment history.
Right, something, because having no credit is worse. It's not like, oh, I don't have no credit, I'm good. You're bad, because they can't determine okay, well, is this person, credit worthy? Am I gonna be able to get my money back? Any of that or whatever. So lenders look at, wait, it's a business, I'm gonna send you this money, but if you don't have any credit, how do I know that you're even capable of paying me back?
Right.
So establish some type of credit, even if you have to get a store credit card or something like that. Establish some means of credit.
And also, don't start all of a sudden paying on your old collection accounts. Okay?
Oh.
This is something that I really had to learn, because when I got my condo, I had to learn how to manage my credit score.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know it's like an urge to go ahead and get those old collection accounts down. The time to do that is before you apply for a loan, not during the process. Once you get approved, it's best to keep everything the same. Because it goes to the lender, it goes to underwriting, and they double check, and you have to go through the process again. Okay, so my thing is this: if you want to straighten up your credit, clean it up, do that before you apply.
Yes.
Okay, that's the time to do that. Don't do it in the midst after you apply for the mortgage and you got approved, because once you do that, this is what happened with old collection accounts, especially if you're near the for whatever state you're in. If you're close to the
expiration date where they'll start removing
the statute of limitations,
right?
I'm not going to recommend that you break the law, but you do what's best for you between you and your financial advisor. But if it's close to the statute of limitations, I don't see the need. Me personally, I'm speaking for me personally, I don't see the need to all of a sudden start paying it off, because if you already got approved with that on there and it's old and it's about to go off, according to the law in your state, then let it be. You know what I mean? And not only that, it can become a negative if you all of a sudden pay on an old collection account, because what happens is that
it revives.
It comes to life. It so to speak goes into a current account. It won't show as current on your credit account, your credit score, but what it will show is that your timeline would start all over again. For example, let's say the statute of limitation is 5 or 6 years. If you all of a sudden start paying on the 4th year, you start the time, because the timeline goes by your last payment.
Yes, you started all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So you pretty much wasted 4 years you know, you haven't been paying it for 4 years, keep it like that.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, you know, saying that's not the best thing, but at the same time, you know, it's going to be beneficial to you because you will revive your, you know, credit. And so it's just kind of like it'll take longer for it to fall off. 7 to 10 years is the normal statute of limitation. However, it varies by the state. So if you have an old collection, if you have those old hospital bills or something in that nature, don't pay on it. You know, once it's in collection, let it stay in collection. Um, you know,
That's again, I stress that's my personal, and it's for old collection accounts. Now, once again, it's some things that you can and you should clean up prior to applying for new credit or a loan, okay, or a mortgage.
student loans, actually, if you have an old student loan in your collections, if you pay on that, that doesn't work the same way as regular collections. A student loan, it would if it's it will erase all the bad history. So it's as if you've never missed a payment. Now we're talking more so of like credit card payments and hospital bills and all of that.
Right.
Now that will revive from the last time that you made that payment. That's when the time will start clicking before it'll come off your credit report, but not student loans. When you make that payment and say you like 10 years, you know, you haven't made that payment for 10 years and you make that payment, all of that bad history will erase. So that's how that works.
Okay. So these are the tips, the things that you should not do after applying for your mortgage and you got qualified and or approved. These are things that you shouldn't do. If you need more information, go to my website, TamiaBrinson.com.
This is our empowerment tip. Do work that fulfills you. Therefore, if you're doing work that fulfills you, you'll be happier, you'll want to do it, and it won't be a chore. Always see the positive light in anything that you do. If you love it, you'll do it constantly and consistently and over again without anybody having to force you to do it. So therefore, love what you do.
And this is what I say. I've always said, because it happened in my life, when you do something that you absolutely love, it's not a chore. You don't have to work too hard at it because, again, it's something that you love to do, and you will actually find ways to educate yourself on it, to improve on it. You will find yourself wanting to do all kinds of projects, creativity, because you love what you're doing. And Tamika expressed to me before she loves what she was doing, and I love what I'm doing because me personally, I just found out about 10 years ago that I like helping people. You know, you find some people that, you know, enjoy being in sports or what have you, being in music, but my thing, I like I like helping people. So with mortgages, with loans, if I can help somebody get in their forever home or their happy home, they have that big smile on, that does it for me. Because I like helping people.
Right.
It's just something about promoting other people and putting that big smile on their face. It brings such satisfaction to me. And then I find other ways where I can get more business, and not only does it benefit you financially, but it benefits you, you know, spiritually, because you enjoy helping people.
Absolutely. This is our empowerment tip for the day.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed.
A good mortgage broker.
And I kept searching.
And searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes. Thank you.
If you are looking for one as well,
Look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
thank you.
Welcome back. today we're going to talk about evaluating your goals. And it's very important because on a previous show we were talking about, setting your goals, but this time we want to let you know that you can go back and evaluate your goals and learn from what worked and what didn't work. So let's start. The first tip is to measure your goals. When you're measuring your goals, you want to look at what you started out, because you may have set a too ambitious goal, or you may have set it to underperform also. So I mean, you need to go back and measure what your goals were. For example, weight loss. If you had set a goal that I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in 1 week, and you tried but you did only 5, okay, you need to go in and reevaluate. Was that too high of a bar? Or was it something that I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I did that fine, but Thursday and Friday I went off the grid?
Right.
So maybe you just need to measure what you was doing and see what worked and what didn't work. Maybe you need to make some adjustments there.
A big thing with weight loss, eating on a saucer, like some of you people don't know what a saucer is, one of those smaller plates, and opposed to the bigger plate. So you're training your stomach to eat, smaller portions. I'm telling you, if you do that alone, you'll start seeing the weight drop. So that's just a tip out there.
And then also you can do that with savings. If one of your goals to save like an extra $20,000 for the year, and you didn't do it, what I mean? Maybe you need to go back and look at what you spent money on. What's the reason why you didn't save? Because if you made that goal of $20,000, first of all, how did you make the goal? Did it just pop out of your head? Oh, I'm gonna say $20,000, or did you look at your finances and see that was doable?
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is where the measuring part comes.
Right.
At the end of your, the deadline you have for your goal, if you accomplished it, then you look back and see, okay, well, this work, I did this, and that work, I put back, $1,000 a month or whatever, and that worked. And I was able to make some adjustments on my groceries or going out, stuff that I didn't need to do, or if it didn't work, maybe you can go back and see, well, I splurged a little bit here or there, and I didn't save. Maybe I need to put in some mechanisms where I automatically put it to my savings account every month or every week or whatever.
Right.
So with savings, that's another example of where you need to set your goals where it's measurable, so that you can look back and see what you're doing, how you're doing it, what you may have missed, and what you can improve on.
Yes, and when you get paid, the best thing is to automatically have something set up where your savings automatically comes out. Because some people, we get into a habit of, let's pay all my bills and then whatever I have left over, save. No. Save first, pay yourself first, and then pay your bills. And if you have to call whoever you're calling or whatever, like, let me get the time that this is due, push back or something like that or whatever, because you had saved, you gotta do what you gotta do. But save first, because you don't want to get into that habit of, just working to pay bills. And, you need to work to live.
Okay, and the next tip is to set deadlines. Include deadlines with your goals.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to just say, okay, well, I have 5 goals I want to accomplish this month. For example, savings. I want to save $200 this month, $200 in my emergency fund. But I'm sorry, you want to say $200, but you don't have no time limit to it.
Right.
And I said before, for the month. That's what you want to do. You want to put a deadline on your goal. You want to have some kind of, again, you want to make it measurable, and you want to have a deadline, because if you just have it open-ended, you might never get to that goal.
Right. And $200, it may not seem a lot or whatever, like, oh, this is $200, but it depends on how much you make and what your responsibilities are. So, don't think that, any goal is just like, oh, that's a stupid goal, or that's not big enough. Actually, $200 a month, that can add up very quickly. So I would just say, if you can only save $200 a month, then you know what I'm saying, do that. If you can only save $50 a month, do that, because no goal that you set, you know, is stupid goal. So that's that on that. And then also you want to go into identify the lead measure.
Oh, right. Identifying your measure, for example, again with savings, you want to measure what you have done. For example, if you have met the $200 goal within a month, you want to look back, pull up, I bank with Bank of America. So Bank of America have where you can download into a spreadsheet all your transactions. So if you want to look back and see what you spent on, or what you saved on, because if you can go back to the previous month and find out that you may have saved by, like I said before, not going out eating at restaurants. You know what I mean? So if you go back and look at your finances and see the difference and see that that was a successful strategy in reaching your $200 goal for the month, then you want to write that down and make sure that that's one of the measures you want to keep using. Because you might want to, increase your goal the next month or the next year, and that's the whole point of analyzing and measuring your goals. Hello? Because, we're at the rudimentary level when you start setting goals for yourself, first of all, and then you start achieving. That's rudimentary. We learned that in school, in grade school. But when you start getting to the point where you measure your goals, and whether it's good or bad, you can make adjustments, and go according to your lead measure. You can measure it, you can make adjustment. Even if it's good, you can increase,
right? You can
based
improve
on the measurements and your analytics, what you've seen that you improved on. If it's bad, then you really need to make some adjustments.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I use an app called Clarity Money, where it pretty much does what Bank of America spreadsheet does. It tells me how much I spent in each category, and then sometimes when it doesn't drop in the correct category, I could just move it to that category. Like if it's a bill and it reads like it's entertainment or something, I can just drop it to over there. But it tells you exactly like how much you spend in this category and stuff like that. So let me tell you something. When I was blown away about how much
you spend,
and eating out a month between me and my husband, when I tell you it was $1,000 a month, I was like, what? I was just like, oh my goodness, what a rude awakening, and so because you don't think of it, especially when you have two people spending at the same time. And so just kind of like you're not jotting down everything or whatever. When I tell you it was a rude awakening, because you can attach your debit cards and your credit cards and all that stuff to the Clarity Money app, and then when you use them or whatever, it'll tell you. And then if you get paid, it'll tell you like how much you that you have assets and liability, like how much money you made, and then against all your purchases and stuff. So yeah, that's a good app to have. So you really saved my life, it really saved my coins, my pockets. It really did. So.
And then the last tip, we've already covered it really, but the last tip is track and measure your goals. Once again, after you do your goal, you meet your goal or haven't met it, you go back and analyze and do all your measurements, find out what you did wrong, what you didn't. And again, you can increase it or you can make the adjustments to make the goal.
Right.
Okay, so that's very important. And I recommend doing that. It's a lot of goals that we set for ourselves. But savings is just one example, but you can do that over and over again. Put it as a habit in your
Going
household.
to school, that's a goal. Let me tell you one of my biggest accomplishments was stop paying daycare. Yes, child daycare is expensive, And so I was so happy when my daughter went to kindergarten. I didn't have to pay daycare anymore.
I remember that.
Yes.
20 years ago.
It's such a, it's like, oh, yes. And then when your kids start going to all the same school, there's no more extended day. Big adjustments there,
Yeah.
And so, and then don't have any more kids. So you don't have to go over that same process again.
Amen.
So yes, the little things in life we want to celebrate. And so, but yes, celebrate each goal, each accomplishment. If it's just a pat on your back, if it's just like, you want to get a shirt or something, celebrate your goals, because once you start celebrating yourself, you'll feel like even if the world feels like what I'm doing is not good enough, I know what I'm doing is good enough, and I'm gonna go ahead and celebrate myself. You know what I'm saying? Never be shy, because nobody's gonna congratulate you. Like you're gonna congratulate yourself, and it's not you being stuck up or any of that stuff. It's realizing that you worked hard to get where you needed to be, and your determination, self persistence. Let's see, you depended on yourself. So therefore, always celebrate yourself when nobody else will.
And want to piggyback on that, celebrating, it is also good for building your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about setting goals, whether it's personal or finance or career-wise, it is always good to celebrate, because it builds your confidence, and not to go overboard, but it's something about our subconscious that is so powerful that when you celebrate, it releases endorphins. It's a memorable moment. So believe it or not, that will help you go to the next. You'll be so fired up going to the next goal and let me see what I can do, because you got that confidence now. You can achieve something. You can go further. So that is also important, to just build that confidence. And like I said, that subconscious, building those memorable moments. When you hear psychologists say that, a lot of childhood memories are blocked out, but it's significant and memorable moments that is powerful and that they remember.
Mm-hmm.
But the little details, they don't remember all the other stuff. That's because the subconscious is so powerful. So use that tool and create. That's basically what we're doing. We're manifesting, and we're creating a pathway for our subconscious to work. Hello.
Yes.
So when you build that celebratory event,
Mm-hmm.
the subconscious will record it. And when you go to your next goal, and because I had that flashback, even in the midst of your trying other goals, you remember, like when I was buying my condo, I remember I worked on my credit, I did this, so I know I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you will have flashbacks. No, baby. Even in those dark moments where stuff don't happen just like you planned it, you have those moments, those things happen,
Yes.
stuff comes up. So that's why you need to have that you need to have a memory bank. Trust me, God put everything. It's just so amazing how He put these tools here for us.
Exactly.
Built in.
Exactly. Listen, ultimately, girl, you got it. Boy, you got it. You give yourself that pat on the back. You got this. So don't self-doubt yourself. Don't let anybody do it. You got this.
Thank you for watching the Tamia and Tamika Show, and be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel.